Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Electric Sheep. I hope you enjoyed this one. This is Grok, son of Mull, Warriors Out of Time.
Grok, son of Mull, warriors out of time. Grok, son of Mull, sat cross-legged on the stone bench, his massive frame hunched slightly as he observed the samurai street performer. The man stood as still as a statue, his polished armor gleaming under the city's neon lights. Tourists and locals alike paused, gazing at him in curiosity. And when they lingered too long, the swordsman would suddenly shift, his hand flashing toward his hilt. The onlookers gasped, some stepping back in reflexive fear. But as soon as they realized it was an act, their expressions softened into laughter, and they dropped coins into his bowl before moving on. Grok grunted, scratching his thick beard as he turned to one of the warriors standing behind him. They were a remarkable assembly, over 100 men and women of various races, clad in intricately designed kimonos. Though their garments were works of art, the people within them were hardened warriors, their bodies marked by battle scars. They stood in disciplined silence, an army of history's finest, bound together not just by fate but by blood. For they were all Grok's descendants. The alien traveler called the Gorshet had told him as much. A being from a race of pacifists, the Gorshet had no warriors among his own kind. Yet he found the concept of warfare endlessly fascinating, collecting prime warriors from across Earth's history to study them. He had traced the lineage of countless civilizations, only to discover they all led back to Grok's ancient tribe. From that primal clan, scattered across ages by the tides of history, had risen the greatest warriors of all cultures. And now, by the Gorshet's hand, they had been gathered, plucked from their respective eras and placed together in this time, in this world that had forgotten what true warriors once were. The alien had dropped them in Japan, believing it would be the best place for them to witness modern Earth's way of life. The warrior Grok addressed was Japanese, a man who had once fought in the Sengoku period, his katana resting against his side like an old friend. Proper form? Grok asked in his deep, gravelly voice. The samurai beside him, his eyes sharp as a blade, watched the performer for a moment before answering. No, not at all. His stance is weak, his hands are untrained, but his symbolism is good. He makes the people happy. A brief pause. No real fight in him, just play. Grok nodded in understanding. The modern world had forgotten the true weight of a blade. War was fought with drones and missiles, not steel and honor. Yet here, in this moment, a man dressed as a samurai brought joy to strangers by imitating what they thought warriors had been. It was a strange time, this 2025. The Gorshet had left them here to learn, to experience, to see how their world had evolved. He had promised to return eventually, to ask what they thought. But Grok already knew. This world did not understand warriors. Not anymore. As the street performer spooked another group of passersby, Grok let out a deep chuckle. His warriors remained still, watching, waiting. They were relics of a time when battle was fought hand to hand, when survival depended on strength, skill, and will. The world thought warriors like them were extinct. The world was wrong. A feast for warriors. As night fell over Tokyo, the gathered warriors moved through the streets, their presence both regal and intimidating. Though clad in elegant kimonos, the sheer force of their existence made people step aside. Equipped with digital funds in the form of credit cards of alien origin, these veterans filled their bellies, tasting the flavors of a world that had long forgotten them. The Mongol horse archer took a bite of sushi and raised an eyebrow. Strange. Cold food. Tastes of the sea, yet it is not cooked. He nodded in approval. But the rice is good. A Viking berserker chewed a piece of tempura, then frowned. The oil? Why fry fish when fire alone is enough? He took another bite. Strange, but I do not hate it. A Spartan warrior bit into a takoyaki ball and immediately scowled. This is not meat. A Roman legionnaire, having tried ramen, tapped his bowl. The broth has depth. This could have fed 1,000 men back in my time. The Zulu impi tasted yakitori and grinned. Meat, fire, and a stick. Finally, something that makes sense. The Persian warrior poet sipped green tea. Bitter yet refined. A drink for philosophers. Grok took a large bite of Wagyu beef and grunted. Soft, fat, a strange luxury, he chewed, considering. I have eaten mammoth. This is better. A few warriors turned their heads at this, their expressions ranging from disbelief to amusement. Better than mammoth? The Viking scoffed. Impossible. The Spartan frowned. No meat could best the strength of the great beasts. Grok shrugged. You have not eaten mammoth. I have. The warriors exchanged glances, but had no retort. As they prepared to leave, Grok shifted the weight of his massive club, an ancient weapon tipped with a fragment of a fallen star. It was an artifact of power, a thing of legend. But even the mightiest of warriors could tire of carrying such a burden. Here, take this, Grok grunted, holding the weapon out. A young woman stepped forward, his descendant from the 15th century, a Persian warrior poet with keen eyes and a curved shamshir at her side. She took the club with reverence, bowing her head slightly. As you wish, old father. The Gorshets return. As they finished their meals, a shimmer of light flickered before them. The Gorshet had returned. Elder Champion, have you seen enough? Are you ready to leave? Grok folded his arms. He glanced at his warriors, some still chewing, others watching the alien with wary eyes. He exhaled. A warrior must rest before the next battle. If you can find us a place to sleep, we will stay a while longer. The Gorshet blinked, considering. Then, with a sweep of his hand, a map appeared in the air, a grand temple on the city's edge, abandoned but still standing. This place will serve your needs. Stay as long as you wish. I will return when the time is right. And with that, the hologram vanished. Captured in time. As they walked toward the temple, people noticed them. Phones came out. At first, it was cautious curiosity, but soon, brave tourists approached, asking for pictures. The Roman legionnaire stood rigid, confused by the request, but obliged. The Viking shield maiden laughed, throwing an arm around a stunned onlooker. The ninja simply vanished from one frame to the next. A young man asked Grok for a picture, hesitantly raising his phone. Grok nodded, allowing it. The flash illuminated his rugged face, his ancient eyes. Perhaps, in this time without war, the stories of warriors lived on in different ways. The Elder Champion watches. As night fell, they gathered in the temple, spreading out, resting, breathing in the silence. But the last to close his eyes was Grok. He stood at the temple's entrance, looking over his warriors, his family. A pride filled him that no king, no emperor, no conqueror in history had ever known. He slept proud. He slept satisfied. Tomorrow would be good as well.
Well, I really like that. I wanted to get that whole idea that they're a family, like they act like they're connected. It's obviously a very weird relationship between all these warriors, where they look to the caveman as some sort of a leader figure, a father figure. But I like when they're trying to talk like they know how good Mammoth is. They're like, there's no way that Wagyu could compare to the Mammoth, and Grok is just like, well, I'm the only one who actually ate Mammoth. And it's just like an awkward moment, and I like that. Uh, yeah, um, I had to rework this one quite a bit because for some reason, ChatGPT, when you tell it to like change one little thing, it'll sometimes change quite a lot. And so sometimes that's a good thing because you'll get like a whole paragraph to add context to a little change that you want. But sometimes you just want it to take out one thing and leave everything else, and it doesn't do that. And so you got to ask a bunch of times. But for the most part, this gave me what I wanted and reordered things in a way that it made sense. Because there was versions of this where things were just totally all over the place. But I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Um, thought this was just a cool idea, an alien uh, plucking a caveman and his future descendants from time and bringing them together so they get to experience the modern world. And that's pretty much what this is, and I like it. It's fun. But there's going to be more from Grok and the Warriors Out of Time, or the Warriors of Time, whatever you want to call them. If you like this, look forward to there being 2 more parts already made. I just have to record them. So, as always, this is Joseph Arthur Roszell thanking you for listening. And I just want to wish you all the luck in the world. And just remember that I love you. Alrighty.